Welcome to The Great Indoors. We're at episode 5 today. This is the podcast series devoted to discussing the technological and cultural impact that the COVID-19 pandemic has had on our lives and how technology as a whole is helping us to lead as normal life as possible. So please subscribe to our podcast series. You'll find us on all the normal podcast channels and Google Podcasts and Apple and Spotify and SoundCloud. So please subscribe. And also please visit our website, amdocs.com/, the great indoors, where we have a treasure trove of all sorts of items that support this series, from videos to white papers to infographics. And we even have some free gifts on there. So please check that out. Now, today we're going to be talking about education, right? Why education is so important, and how it's been affected absolutely dramatically by the effects of the pandemic. And it goes back to right at the beginning of this podcast series. We did a survey that's available on our webpage in the United States, where we surveyed 1,000 people over the age of 18 to basically find out what they were doing differently, what they were doing less of, what they were doing more of when they were in lockdown. Now, interestingly, out of that population of 1,000 people, 23%, I think it was, responded with that they had undertaken some sort of remote learning since the lockdown, which I thought was interesting and a significant number. But then after thinking about it for some time, I thought if we'd have done that same survey to 1,000 people in the United States under the age of 18, the results would have been very different, namely on that education, remote learning piece. I hazard a guess that 95% of the respondents would have stated that that would have been, one of the new things that they had done as a result of the pandemic. I mean, it's phenomenal, right? Most governments around the world have temporarily closed all their educational institutions in an attempt to contain the spread of COVID-19. As of 7th of June this year, nearly 2 billion learners are currently affected due to school closures in response to the pandemic. 2 billion people's daily lives completely changed. And I think in this podcast series, we've talked about, well, the effects on marketing, the effects on diversity and inclusion. We've talked about remote working. We've talked about remote banking. We've talked about the democratization of digital living. But 2 billion people could no longer go to school, college, or university. Now, I don't want to be so bold as to say that is probably the biggest single affected segment of the population on this planet hit overnight by the effects of this pandemic. And according to UNICEF monitoring, 134 countries are currently implementing nationwide closures. That's impacting 98.5% of the world's student population. I mean, this is, I know it's the most used term, but this is absolutely unprecedented. I mean, it really is incredible. Now, in response to this, UNESCO recommended the use of distance learning programs and open educational applications and platforms that schools and teachers can use to reach learners remotely and limit the disruption on education. Now, school closures not only affect the students, of course, and their teachers and their families, but they have the most seismic, that's a term I've used too much, but have far reaching economic and societal consequences. School closures in response to the pandemic have shed light on a multitude of issues, from childcare, homelessness, food insecurity, student debt, housing, disability services. I mean, we saw the case in the United Kingdom of Marcus Rashford, the Manchester United footballer, who campaigned to Boris Johnson to ensure that children had their free school dinners during this lockdown and beyond. But I mean, when we look at this technology wise as well, this pandemic has put a microscope on digital learning, internet availability, internet quality. These two factors are essential in ensuring we minimize some of those social and economic issues as a result of children having to stop education. I mean, never in human existence have we had to, as a society, 2 billion people rely on technology to perform the base of their education. So I think this is important, and it's hugely important. And I've spoken over the weeks with many parents. Of course, I'm a parent, and they've felt stressed out. They've felt exhausted. They've felt that guilty, that all of a sudden that they're having to try and help their children's education, and they're not teachers, they're not trained to do this, they don't have the skills, the learning, the patience to do that, and their frustration has been intense, particularly those that also have to maintain a full-time job and ensure that their children do their classes, get on their Zoom calls. I see it every day with the people I work with, the stresses that come with that. The other people, of course, is the teachers. I was speaking just today to a teacher here in Ontario who, on that day when school stopped here in Canada on Friday the 13th, the teachers weren't ready for this. The schools weren't ready for this. The infrastructure didn't exist. The training didn't exist. There was no playbook. There was nothing provided that they could all of a sudden pick up and say, okay, this is what we do now. It really was the first time this had ever happened. And it's been truly, truly hard for them, of course, truly hard for them to try and run through the curriculum remotely with their students, particularly young students. Now, of course, we also hear from politicians who try to play the political game of they want to get their children back to school, there's safety risks, and we hear their side of things. But what I thought would be interesting, because I have four small children, four young children anyway, one of them's very small, but let's hear from their perspective, right? I've been blown away, impressed, proud, amazed at how my children have pivoted to remote education. These tools in their hands that they've always used as an entertainment device has suddenly become their main educational conduit, and how they've pivoted, how they've been disciplined. And look, let's look at positives. We always try to look at the positives. In 3.5 months, their IT skills have gone from minimal to very proficient. And I've been extremely proud of what they've done. So we're going to do something very different today. And with that, I'd like to invite our guests. So they say in your career, never work with animals or children, but I'm going to take the risk here. And I've invited three people I know tremendously well to talk about education, more so their experiences of education. Welcoming to the podcast today is Miss Harriet Roberts, Miss Annabelle Roberts, and Miss Matilda Roberts. Welcome to the Great Indoors.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So, Harriet, maybe you'd like to introduce yourself.
I'm in grade 4 and I like to read and I also like to eat candy.
Annabelle?
I'm in grade 3. I'm almost in grade 4 and I'm 9 years old. I like reading and watching TV.
Matilda?
I'm in kindergarten and I'm going to grade 1 and it's so excited and I play with my friends there too. And I'm in Miss Schneider's class.
Oh, excellent. Thank you, Matilda. Well, welcome you all. And the reason why I've decided to bring you guys on is because I've seen a phenomenal leap in your ability to use technology during the lockdown. So prior to the lockdown, you've all got tablets, right?
Yeah.
You've all got access to Chromebooks and laptops, right?
Mhm.
You've all got access to the internet.
Yeah.
But what do you do the most on your tablet, Harriet?
I play games. I play games.
Yeah.
And I chat with my friends. And I love my friends because they're beautiful and nice.
Okay. So that's cool. So it's safe to say that before the lockdown, you did a lot of gaming on your technology, on your stuff, right?
Yes, after school.
Right.
Before.
But when, so let's zoom back a little bit. On Friday, March the 13th, a date I will remember forever, school stopped. Normally, when you're at school, your teacher would ask you to do an assignment, you would write it down, hand it in, and she would mark it. But how does it work now? How does the remote learning work? What you get your assignment in the morning through Google Classroom from your teacher,
Yes.
and then how do you go about doing that?
Well, so normally for math, I usually write the math down on a piece of paper and copy it from the the sheet that my teacher sent us. So after with I'm done the page, I was when I just started doing it, I was wondering I was wondering what where to hand it in. I was like, what?
How do you
Where
hand
do
it
I?
in?
Yeah. And
So how did you get that completed maths paper to your teacher?
well, it's there's something that said when I went out of the page. It said add attachments.
Yeah.
I tapped that, and then I tapped take photo. I took a photo of my math. It showed up in the classroom,
Yeah.
and then it said hand in, and then I handed in.
Yeah.
Then the next day or something, I check if there's any mistakes that my teacher said, like if that has a mistake, this. So I fix it,
Yes.
and then I and then for the language, I use Google Slides, which is kind of tricky. Even like a month ago, I still needed help on it. So the first month, my teacher said about this leaf that I needed to do, like all of the kids in my class had struggles with. So I the first time I tried, I write it as a PDF, which is which is not the same as Google Slides.
You can't edit it, right?
Yes, I can't edit it.
Yeah.
So I handed it in. The next day, I thought I was done. I saw it still showing up. I was like, my teacher said, well, this and this. So
And she then assessed it from her side. And what did she do as well to give you an assessment? She used special voice notes, right?
yes, I think it's called Moat or something. I don't know.
Right. But that was a good way, right? And now you've got into a rhythm of it and it's good, right?
And now I don't need to waste time on my tablet doing the homework.
Right.
And I just do it straight away.
Yeah. Excellent. And Harriet, what tools have you been using and how does your typical day look like when your teacher gives you an assignment?
I use my Chromebook.
Yeah.
And I don't have that much assignments.
Right.
So I usually go on websites that she tells us to go on
To do the research.
And how I do my assignments is I write them down on a piece of paper and I take a picture of it and I send it to my Chromebook. Then I upload it into my files.
Okay.
Then I forgot what to do.
But you use cloud, right? Which cloud do you use, Annabelle?
Google Classroom.
Yeah, and you use Google Drive, and you've become a master on Google Docs.
Yes.
Now
Not really
let's talk
Google
about something else because I've seen both of you doing this, and we've talked about this in our series is video conferencing, right? And I've seen. So Harriet, which video conferencing software have you used over the last 3.5 months, and what's your favorite?
I've been using Microsoft Teams, and
I kind of like it now because you can chat to people most of the time on the chat,
Yeah,
which sometimes you can do on others,
yeah.
like Zoom and stuff.
How many people have been on? How many people normally are on the Microsoft Teams when you have a call?
Like about like 18 to 19 people because I have
Wow.
like 23 or 24 people in my class.
Yeah,
Or 22, I don't know really.
yeah. Wow. And what about you, Annabelle? When you do a video call, and I know you've had a lot with your class, what software are you using?
When I do the class call or something, I use Google Meet, which is really easy.
Google Meet.
Yes.
Yeah,
So I don't really do this on my tablet. I do this on Harriet's computer.
yeah,
So sign into my account, go to Google Classroom, press settings or something,
yeah,
press Classroom folder. After that, it said Google Apps. When it says Google Apps, I tap Google Meet, which is somewhere in the middle of it.
yeah,
And our teacher told us the code,
yeah,
and we type in the code when we make it to Google Meet,
yeah.
and then usually everyone will show up there. Not everybody. Some people don't even show up every time.
Right. They're
And
playing truants. Is that right on their classroom? Yeah,
over
that's not
2
good.
hours.
Yeah. Well, cool. So you've used, what did we mention here then? We've used Cloud, we've used Google Drive, we've used Google Classroom, we've used Microsoft Teams,
We used
with
the
Zoom.
Chromebook.
Yeah. You used the Kavuto, didn't you? The Texidium application.
Yeah, I think so. I don't
Okay.
know.
Right. So, and it's amazing because you got into a routine. And how did you? I noticed Annabelle actually did a presentation on Walt Disney, didn't you? And you presented it to your class. What did you use to do that?
I use Google Slides.
Yeah. And was it cool?
Yeah.
And you did some research?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, excellent. And Matilda, what was the most interesting thing you did in kindergarten using the computer?
Um 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 I was working with my teachers
Yeah.
very hard.
Yeah.
And I was reading my books with them and the girls, SK girls.
Yeah.
And then
You also did a virtual graduation, didn't you, from
yes.
kindergarten?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that was amazing, right?
And a graduation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do all of you feel much more comfortable now with using um, all the tools that you've been using?
Yeah.
Yeah, Annabelle?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And do you think that you could stay at home and continue doing your education, Annabelle?
I don't know. I like school more because I can hang out with my friends.
Yeah.
I can still chat with my friends, but I like to go to school more so I can play outside and eat
Right.
pizza on pizza day.
Oh, you missed pizza day. Okay.
Yeah. I'm very kind because my voice is very nice.
You do have a very nice voice, Matilda. I must say that. I must say that. Now, you touched on something else there. We talked about the education, right? The education piece, which I think is critical, right? And I talked in the beginning about why it's so important. But nothing so far can replace your friends, can it? Really?
No,
No.
I don't think
But you did
so.
get to speak to them and see them. What did you use?
Huh?
What did you use to speak to your friends?
Messenger Kids.
Yeah. What else?
Messenger Kids.
You used Zoom, didn't you? And Microsoft.
No, I only use Zoom for Kumon.
Okay.
I talk to them on Messenger Kids.
Yeah, but
Sometimes I talk to them on Microsoft Teams,
yeah,
and they all miss me, and I miss them.
right.
Cha-ching.
So I think it's pretty safe to say that nothing can replace the social side. But let's talk about something else. We talked about schooling. Do you miss going to the theatre, the movie theatre?
Yes.
Yeah? Yeah?
Yes, I was gonna go there for my birthday, but it did not happen. But I still had a birthday party, and I still miss watching the movies. But we can still watch the movies at home, which
Yeah.
we all did.
But was it good to watch? What we watched Trolls 2, didn't we?
Yes, it was beautiful.
Yeah.
And we watched Onward.
Oh yeah. And what was your
And
favourite,
Onward.
Annabelle,
What?
movie?
There isn't any.
Yeah, but we watched those premieres. Were they good?
I
No.
don't know.
But would you prefer that? I mean, what do you miss from the movie theatre?
Watching the cinema.
Yeah. What do you miss from the movie theatre?
I missed all of the movies.
Okay. But what do you miss, Annabelle?
I miss the sweet popcorn.
Well, we can make sweet popcorn at home, can't we? No?
But it's sweeter at the cinema.
Okay.
I miss watching the cinema screen and the loud noises, but there's so much ads, which seem very interesting.
All right. Okay, so look, we're going to do something. I really appreciate it. Thank you for your thoughts on education. But I have a quiz for you.
Oh, yeah.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Are you ready for this? Okay.
Of course I'm ready.
Right, so here we go. So the quiz is basically, I've got one for all three of you, and I'm going to give you two choices, and you have to say the choice that you prefer the most. Okay, so we're going to start with Harriet. Harriet, are you ready?
Yes.
Step up. Let's see how you go. You ready to start the quiz?
Yeah.
Now this is going to test what you've learned technology-wise, but also it's important because I'm going to litter it with some fun questions as well. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, so Harriet, here we go. You start. Zoom or Microsoft Teams?
Microsoft Teams.
Liverpool or Manchester?
Liverpool.
Okay, good girl, good girl. Wi-Fi or LTE?
What's LTE?
Well, okay, so we'll move to the next question.
Wi-Fi.
Okay. The Rolling Stones or the Beatles?
The Beatles.
Excellent, good choice. London or New York?
London.
Harry Potter or Percy Jackson?
I like both. I can't decide.
Okay, here's a good one for you. Justin Trudeau or Donald Trump?
Justin Trudeau.
Okay. Samsung or Apple?
Samsung.
Oh. Trolls 2 or Frozen 2?
Trolls 2.
Okay. The Toronto Raptors or the LA Lakers?
Toronto Raptors.
Oh. Chromebook or Windows?
Chromebook.
School or home?
Home.
Excellent. Well done, Harriet. Everyone give Harriet a round of applause.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, Annabelle, we're going to do the quiz for you. Are you ready? Okay, here we go. But don't worry, there's nothing to is it? We want to see your technical preferences with a bit of fun as well. You ready? So, Annabelle, Google Meet or WebEx?
Google Meet.
Okay. Liverpool or Manchester?
Liverpool.
Good girl. 4G or 5G?
What's that? I just 4G. I don't even know.
I don't know. Here's one for you. Amdocs or Netcracker?
Nutcracker. Yeah.
Let me ask that again. Amdocs or Netcracker?
Amdocs.
Good girl. Toronto or Paris?
Harriet.
Ah. Dogs or cats?
Cats.
Really?
Yes, cats.
But we've got two dogs. Here's one for you. Hawaii or Ericsson?
Hawaii.
Let me ask that one again. Hawaii or Ericsson?
Hawaii.
Okay. Onward or Top Gun Maverick?
Onward.
Jurgen Klopp or Jose Mourinho?
Jurgen Klopp.
Google Drive or Microsoft OneDrive?
Google Drive.
Summer or winter?
Summer.
PowerPoint or Google Slides?
Google Slides.
And school or home?
Home.
All right. Well done. Okay, so Matilda, are you ready for yours?
Yes.
Yours is going to be a little bit different. Come here. All right, here we go. Matilda, Zoom or Microsoft Teams?
Zoom.
Liverpool or Manchester?
Liverpool.
Good girl. Wi-Fi or LTE? It doesn't matter if you don't know. The Rolling Stones or the Beatles?
The Rolling Stones.
Oh, Jack fan. London or New York?
London or New York.
New York? Okay. Harry Potter or Percy Jackson?
Percy Jackson.
All right. Where were we here? Oh, Justin Trudeau or Donald Trump?
Donald Trump.
Oh. Oh my gosh. We won't let your mother listen to this. Samsung or Apple? Trolls 2 or Frozen 2?
Both.
Oh, excellent. Toronto Raptors or LA Lakers?
I'm Lakers.
Toronto Raptors or LA Lakers?
I like
Chromebook or Windows?
Windows.
School or home?
School.
Excellent. Well, listen, it's been wonderful having you on the Great Indoors today.
Thank you.
You've been a pleasure. I think
Thank
you've
you.
all done. I think you've all done amazingly well, right, with your education and what you've learned at home. And you never know. In September, you might still be here at home. Anyway,
Really?
do you want to say goodbye?
Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye, Grandpa Pig.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. So there we go. That concludes episode 5 of The Great Indoors. I said it was going to be a little bit different. I hope it was fun. It certainly was for me and my guests. And I think, just to conclude here, we have to bear something in mind, and it's a serious issue, but we're shining a light on a very important, I think, a very important societal issue. My children are lucky. They have the high speed interconnection and the hardware that allows them to proceed as normal. But many children who are less privileged and less fortunate don't have that infrastructure. And that's something that's essential. It's essential for life and it's essential for society. And I think it needs to be looked at in the future by governments, by companies, by education trusts, so that we can ensure continuity and that the education and the future of our children is safeguarded if this situation was ever likely to happen again. So please subscribe to our podcast, The Great Indoors, available on SoundCloud, Google, Apple, and Spotify. Visit our website, amdocs.com/The Great Indoors. And I hope you look forward to hearing from us again as we move forward in this series. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.